Hey, everybody, welcome to the Levrone Report, brought to you by Levrone Supplements and starring IFBB Hall of Famer, the Maryland Muscle Machine, one of my favorite men in this industry, Kevin Levrone. What's up, Kevin? How are you, sir?
I'm doing fine, Ron. It's good to be back here on MD after exciting weekend at the Mr Olympia.
Yeah, it was good to see you. I haven't seen you in person in a while, long time.
Yeah, it's been a while, man. It's good to see you. Good to see Steve and everybody. So It was all right, right?
Your booth, I went by your booth a couple times and it was hopping. Everyone's pretty excited that your products are finally in the USA.
Yeah, man. We had a nice presence there and, went on stage and handed out the, wow, I had no idea that, fifth place award goes to Ramy. It's like, wow, okay.
Oh, that's right. You gave Ramy his fifth place?
Yeah, so I had to, it was so much going through my mind. I was sitting there just soaking up the feelings and the emotions and what he could be trying to process, with that placing and everything, That's why I just respected and gave him his space to digest all that.
Yeah, he was very, very gracious in losing. A lot of, I'm sure inside, like I said, I don't know what was going through his head, the emotions he was feeling in that moment. But for a two-time reigning Mr. Olympia to drop all the way to fifth like that, he had to be heartbroken, I'm sure.
But, yeah, I'm sure he was his insides were probably turning upside down.
Yeah,
from my experiences of being on stage and placing, sometimes in a surprising position or spot, you're like, wow, But he took it really well. He handled it. Seemed like he handled it really professional on stage.
He did. So I know you did the commentary on the pay-per-view for 212. Were you able to get out in the audience, or how did you watch the open? Were you backstage or in the audience?
I was backstage sitting right behind Bob Chick. So as soon as they exit off from doing their routines or whatever it was, they passed by Bob Chick and I was sitting right there. I pump fist them as they were coming off. I saw their routines from the side of the stage.
Okay. So did you really get a chance to watch the judging or did you have to watch it from that vantage point? Did you see monitors or? I'm trying to see what you saw, figure out what you saw.
I saw everything. I saw him backstage. I was up close to him backstage. I saw him pumping up. I saw him sitting there for, waiting to go out. Pre-judging night and then the night before the night show. I felt sorry for him, honestly, during the pre-judging because the pump-up room was very, very area was small. It wasn't no privacy or anything. Everybody was just kind of crammed in there, standing around and waiting and waiting and waiting. When we did our shows, we had locker rooms and stuff like that. We had maybe 2 or 3 of us was signed to a room, to where we had our privacy, but they were out in the middle of the floor and with all the contestants. So it was the bodybuilders mixed with, every
female divisions. Yeah,
every division.
That's a key point, because when you were competing in the Mr. Olympia, it was, the whole contest, people would go and watch just the Mr. Olympia. You didn't have to wait around these guys had to wait for, figure, men's physique, women's bodybuilding, and wellness.
Yeah.
And I don't think they got on stage until it was 11 o'clock at night, and the show started at 6:30.
Yeah. So when you think about gearing up for a contest and mentally, as an athlete, you want to leave your hotel fresh. You want your mind fresh. You want everything ready. And then you want to try to get to that stage fast as you can, knowing what you have in that package you have without any interference. You don't want the bus to wait. You don't want to have to do a lot of walking, you know, because all of these things, you're sucking them in, and it's things are constantly like changing. So I couldn't imagine sitting backstage for 3 hours,
more,
wait to go on for prejudging or more.
Yeah.
Like, you know, and not having space and having your own room or your own bathroom or your anything.
Yeah. And I mean, it's another thing is, you know, like I said, in your day, I hate to use that phrase in my day, but in your day, you kind of really knew when you were going to go on. So you could eat a meal at this time knowing, okay, I got 2 hours, or I've got 45 minutes. I can have a little bit of this.
Yeah, you know, and everything was timed out. It was like, you know, we made sure, okay, the shows get ready to start at, you know, 9 o'clock or what time it was. It was like, we were notified, all right, get them over here now because they got to be on stage within a matter of 45 minutes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You know, or 40 minutes. So that gave us enough time to, boom, make the transition, get backstage, pump up. Well, get backstage, you sit there maybe about 15, 20 minutes. You know, everybody make their speeches and stuff, as far as, you know, you can hear what's going on. And the expediters gave us probably about sometimes 10, 15 minutes to pump up. Sometimes we didn't have much time to pump up and had to oil up, boom, right to that stage, you know. So I could, you know, I feel for the guys when I saw them going through that, you know, and they were really, really, really patient, and, you know, nobody was complaining or anything. They were just sucking it up, you know. I felt for him when it came to that part of it. I thought it was ridiculous, man. I thought it was just, it was terrible.
Yeah. So let's get to the show. As soon as Mr. Olympia judging starts, it's late at night and everything, but first call out, what were your initial impressions? Did you immediately think they put Derek and Hadi in the middle? This is one of the winners? Because I heard some of the commentators, I think someone said even Phil Heath. I didn't watch pay-per-view, so I can't confirm this, but they were saying, well, like Nick Strength and Power, they put Ramy all the way on the end and they didn't move him in the middle because he was that good. I'm like, no, they always move the best guy to the middle. They don't leave him on the side. So what did you think was going on in that first call out when you were watching it?
Well, the call outs can be kind of tricky and different with Steven Weinberg, you know. He has his style of doing call outs. So I can see probably why someone would think that, wow, you know, maybe he's completely first place because he didn't really get, you know, they kept him over there. Like when I won a Night of Champions and when I won, I only got one call out doing the comparisons, you know. And it was like they didn't need to keep comparing me because
were you in the middle though?
I did come out in the middle, yeah. And I remember a time where Dorian Yates came out in the middle. They only gave him one comparison and they stuck him to the side. But we did hit the middle. You know, my opinion was I was just trying to wait to see where the chips were going to fall. I don't know if we could go by who puts who in the middle, but I guess we can. I was just looking at the physiques and trying to figure out who was in shape and who was the winner going to be, you know?
Well, see, that thing is Ramy's condition, his glutes were totally striated. The guy was conditioned, but there were other things going on. What did you notice initially? Because I don't want you to just agree with my assessment of it. I want to hear what you think.
You know, he wasn't crisp. He wasn't tight. And we had definitely seen him in shape, you know, better condition than he was on stage at the 22 Olympia. You know, it's just, I guess he did his best, Ron. You know, I guess he did his best, and him and his team to bring the best package that they could, you know. And I don't want to sit here and beat the guy up. I feel sorry for him.
Yeah.
That you go from being Mr. Olympia down to 5th place. I heard he's coming back next year. I mean, we just have to wait, right? We just have to wait to see what he decides to do. with him and his team, you know. But I mean, honestly, it's disappointing. If it's disappointing to his fans, I know it's just disappointing to him too.
Yeah.
You know, so I mean, it's like he tried his best. I'm sure he tried the best, and the outcome was, you know, the judges rewarded him 5th place. You know, sitting there looking at the show, I can't really say anybody was ripped or anybody was shredded.
Really? Not even, not even Hadi, the winner?
Ripped and shredded. I mean, he was the best conditioned out of everybody on stage when it came to the big guys. You know what I mean? Yeah. He was certainly had the best conditioning of what was on the stage and who he was competing against. Okay. You know, and I do agree with him winning the show. Yeah. You know, but I think the fans, and there were a lot of disappointments because we were expecting, you know, more conditioning in that lineup, you know, for guys to bring it. And, you know, that didn't really quite happen.
Yeah. So, I mean, the last thing I want to talk about with Ramy is the issues that I was seeing with his physique. I don't think any of them were like a lack of effort, or obviously like the blurry midsection. That could have been poor peaking, but there's something going on where his lower lats look like they were atrophied. The arm that he sticks out in that, you know, he does that shot where he sticks his arm down. That tricep was flat. Those 2 holes on his quads looked a little worse than they usually do. Yeah. It's just, I don't know, because like, you know, when Ronnie lost his Olympia and tried to get it back and he competed a couple more times, and it was clear that there was just something wrong with his physique, which ultimately we found out was nerve damage. There's nothing, you know, Ronnie was still training like a beast and dieting. He was doing everything that he had always done before, but his body did, you know, things were broken down and they couldn't be repaired. And I hope that's not the case, because Ramy, you know, 2 Olympias is awesome. It's 2 more than most human beings ever get, right? But I feel like if these issues hadn't beset him, he could have won that. If he had showed up looking the way he did the last couple of years, I think he would have won again.
Yeah, he would have if he had showed up with looking like he looked last year. Yeah. Or better. Well, let's see, if he had showed up in shape, you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Like I said, you can't give the judges an excuse to get rid of you, and he had that excuse, and they got rid of him, and he should have brought it. I'm pretty sure he probably tried, but then again, when you think about, we could sit here and say, "Oh, that guy wasn't in shape." This guy, you know, there's so much that goes into bringing conditioning from your house to a show in Las Vegas that's in a different city, you know, or a different country or a whole different state. Some of these guys they had to take plane flights. I don't know when they got there, but all of these things have a huge factor into your conditioning, flying, the altitude of being up in the air. You know, what do you do when you get down on the ground? You know, it's just so many factors that take precedence over getting someone on that stage in 100% conditioning. You know what I mean? It's a lot that goes into it. You know, I don't want to sit here and beat the guys up. I think that any of the guys want to show up and be on that stage 100%. Yeah, you're damn right. I'm sure they all wanted to. But unfortunately, the chips fell, and that's not what the fans saw. You know, I think the fans pay, like Joey would tell us, you know, and that was exactly why, you know, we were held to a standard, and we had to show up a couple weeks before the Mr Olympia for photo shoots because he wanted to see that we were in shape. We had photo shoots going on after the Olympia. We had to hold that condition. We had guest posing throughout the whole entire year where we had to be in shape for guest posing because we're representing that brand. Yeah. It was a higher standard that we were held to because we were under contract to where we had to be in shape and represent the sport at the best possible. And we knew that Joe was there backstage and he was looking at every single one of us to see if we were bringing it. So I think when you're held accountable for certain things, or, you know, that that is there over your head, you're like, man, you take it that extra, that extra week or 2 or 3 weeks, that extra thing to say, you know what, I'm going to do what I can do to get in the best shape that I possibly can, because I know my contract is riding on that. Now, if you come in and you win and you look great, guess what? You could get a raise, but if you come in and you look like, you just didn't put any effort for it, you might lose your contract. These are the things that's missing right now in our federation.
Yeah. Well, you know what? There was one really good aspect to Hadi Choopan winning. I'm not going to speak ill of the dead or put anyone on blast, but you've gone over this before. People can figure it out. You were told you were not going to be allowed to beat Dorian Yates. You couldn't beat Dorian, even if you had the better physique on that day, because marketing reasons, they needed to open up the European market. So it was a political, strategical, financial decision. The judging was not as good back then. I'm just going to put it out there, and you don't have to comment on that if you don't want. But Hadi Choopan, here's a guy from Iran, a country that a lot of Americans, we don't think highly of that country. We've had horrible relations with them since 1979. He doesn't speak a word of English. He's hearing impaired. He's not like an all-American apple pie looking kid like Derek Lunsford is. If this was 20, 30 years ago, I think they would have given it to Derek Lunsford, because he's that blue-eyed, pretty boy American, big smile, speaks perfect English, very, very marketable, even if he's not 6 foot tall and blonde like Gunther. But I thought it was very refreshing. I think the judging is so much more unbiased now. So when people talk crap about the judging, I say to them, you guys should have been around like 20, 30 years ago. Very, very different situation, and you're not, I'm glad you moved on from all that, because I'm like bitter on your behalf, Kevin. It bothers me like you have no idea, because I know I was at shows where you were better than the Mr. Olympia that you were taking second place to at some times. And it's an athletic competition. The best man's supposed to win. If not, it's not a real competition. It's like, I don't know. Sorry if I'm going off on a tangent. And I know you're the one that should be upset, not me. So if you're not upset, I should just shut up. But I had to put that out there. Sorry.
I think the judging is fair. I think the judges got it right. And it's good to see. It's good to see that they're choosing new champions, and Mr. Olympia isn't a contest just for Americans. It's a contest for athletes, bodybuilders around the whole entire universe. And it's refreshing to see that it's opened up, that Iran has a champion that is Mr. Olympia. They have a very, very hard work ethic. They have, they're just hardworking men, and to look at his triumph and how far he came from 212 and to come, that's never happened before. I mean, he made history for his country, and will forever go down as a great athlete. People don't realize that in those countries, bodybuilding it's the number one. It's the number one sport there.
Wow.
And I saw the look in his eyes, and I could just see how hungry he was and how much it meant to him. And think about all the young kids and young boys that he can inspire, of coming to America, winning the Mr. Olympia for his country, having that title as the greatest bodybuilder in the world, breaking all boundaries, clean across for his country and in our country. So I think that's a beautiful accomplishment for him and his country. And also, he earned it. He earned it. No one gave him that. He earned it. And I'm glad the judges rewarded that to him, because he's a deserving winning champion.
Did you visit Iran this year?
Not this year. Not this year. But I have plans to go there. Levrone's signature series is certainly selling in that country. And they've invited me to come over, and I will definitely go over there.
Okay,
you know,
cool.
yeah.
Who else in the top 5 or top 6 really impressed you? Were you thinking maybe in the next, because this title could change hands frequently over the next few years. Who else? Who
You
really
know,
stuck out?
let's take the focus on the 212. How about that?
Sure. Well, I was going to get to them at this. That was my last open question.
Oh, you know, I'm going to say that it's good to see new young blood up there. And I think all of these guys have good opportunities to do great things. I mean, as you can see, I don't think anybody up there blew anybody out of the water, put it that way. It wasn't like anybody got blown out of the water or one person were light years ahead of. So any of those guys that placed in the top 5, they all have a chance. Top 6, they have a chance. That ball could fall in any direction. True. It just depends on who shows up in shape, and we just saw that, right?
Yeah.
And it's like the older guys talk about our era. Yeah, I mean, you know what? We are in a different time period, in a different era now. So let's just judge who's on stage and stop judging this era compared to our era. Yeah. Our era, we did what we had to do. Yeah. I feel like we could have Mr. Olympias in this era. Yeah, but let's just focus on what the judges are looking at right now in this era on stage, and I think, as the guys are probably tired of hearing about the 90s and what did this, so let's not beat them up constantly over that. And I just don't think it's fair, to do that. We have to respect the era, what it is, what it's bringing right now, and pick the best guy from this era, and just take it from there. And let's figure out, all of us, whether we're competing, whether we're off the stage or whatever, how we can move this the fitness industry forward and upward in a positive direction. We have athletes out there that are that really need help and direction as far as their health. That's the number one thing. Let's not lose any more athletes. Let's hold some of these trainers accountable and make sure that they have the best health interests of their athletes at hand, first of all. And I think there's a lot of things, with the industry like that. I think we need to join together and focus on, and make sure everybody's just going to be healthy. But one thing I did like backstage was everybody was healthy, Ron. Nobody cramped up. Okay. Nobody needed any oxygen or anything like that. Sometimes when we were competing backstage, we were sitting there coming off from doing a posing routine, and we had to have that moment, where we were taking oxygen. We were just so on the edge. You know what I mean? Yeah. So all in all, it was a successful weekend, and let's talk about the good of it all. You know what I mean? Yeah. We made it through 2022 Mr. Olympia. We have a new champion for his country, and inspiring, for his country. And nobody got hurt. Nobody, it was good all the way around. So. Yeah. That's what I like to just focus on, Okay,
cool. So you did the commentary on the pay-per-view for the 212 portion of the event. Was this your first time doing that kind of commentary?
Yeah, it was. Yes.
Yeah. So how was that? That must have been weird for you to be on the other side of the coin, you talking about the athletes.
Yeah, it was good, man. Again, it was just an opportunity. I enjoyed it. I enjoy seeing the guys come out, doing their thing. I was looking at the monitors and stuff, and just giving them, certain critiques here and there, positive critiques and stuff like that. Yeah, I was really impressed with the what do you call him, the giant killer,
Shaun Clarida. Yeah, because so he had lost the title to Derek Lunsford last year, and Derek dropped out, but we still had Kamal El-Garni, who had won the year before that. He was a 2019 champ. Clarida was 2020. So we had two former 212 Olympia champs going head to head, and it could have gone could have gone in different ways. But then you also had this guy from Spain who's
Mhm.
incredible, Angel Calderon Frias. How did you see that three-way battle, as you were calling it?
Well, I didn't see anybody close to the giant, the winner.
John, yeah.
He had it. His conditioning was off the charts, off the chains, and he stood out like a sore thumb.
Mm.
Incredible. I saw him backstage when he exited off, and I was up close with him, and I was just impressed how much muscle and everything just flows. You know what I mean? On him.
Yeah. So
But I mean, all the guys, those guys look good in that class, man. They really did.
Yeah.
And my hat goes off to all of them, because it's not easy. It's not easy, man.
Yeah. So Shaun, I don't know if you knew this, but Shaun had qualified for the Open Mr. Olympia by winning the Legion Sports Fest Open last year, right after Olympia. So he had to choose between doing 212 or Open this year. He chose to come back and try to get his 212 title, which great gamble, because it paid off. He got his title back. But
Yeah,
how do you think he might have done had he gone the Open?
probably would have won the whole show.
You think he would have beat Hadi Choopan?
Probably, yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Just my opinion. I'm just saying the guy was.
That's what we're here for. Your opinion. Okay.
The guy he's ripped, he's shredded. I mean, it's kind of like hard to say until we see him together. Or maybe we'll see him together out there next year.
Yeah, maybe so. Yeah. What do you think about Lunsford? We didn't say anything about Lunsford, because there was a guy, he got a special invite. So a lot of people didn't think he even deserved to be on that stage. They thought he was going to get waxed, lucky to make top 10, but he comes out and he's in that first call out, and they put him right next to Hadi, who ends up winning. So I think that sort of justified the special invite. The fact that he almost won the Mr. Olympia, for goodness sake.
He almost what?
He almost won the Mr. Olympia. He was second runner-up at his first try at the Mr. Olympia. Well, kind of like you, but he was coming from 212. So people are like, who's this guy think he is? He's going to stand next to big Ramy and these guys like that. He's going to get destroyed.
Yeah, that was impressive. I mean, he has good shape and everything. And, he's young, right?
Yeah, 29.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about the future is bright for him.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Last thing I want to talk about is the 27-year-old four-time Classic Physique Olympia champion, Chris Bumstead, who I think he actually got the strongest, him and Lunsford, strongest crowd reaction. This kid's got 11 million followers on Instagram, 3 million subscribers on his YouTube channel. Every young guy in the freaking world that I talk to, even if they don't know who Ramy is or anything, they know Bumstead. They love this. They love this kid. I think Classic. Tell me what you think. I think Classic is coming up where it's eventually going to be as popular as Open.
Well, it's probably more popular right now. That's probably why he has 11 million people following him.
Yeah,
because it's probably more obtainable. It's something that the folks can relate to. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I mean, talk about somebody that was in shape. He was in shape. He brought it. He looked good. That whole class, those guys look really, really good. That's what you want. You want to have those nice classic lines, the posing and everything. I really like that class. It's a strong class. And again, hey, the fans have spoken. This guy's got 11 million followers. I was like, he can just put up a picture of his face and get 2 million likes. I was like, good grief.
Yeah.
But people love that class, and that was a strong move for the industry. So yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, it also tells you something that the Arnold Classic show, they raised the prize money so that next year, I think Classic and Open are going to make the same amount of money. Someone's correct me in the comments if I'm wrong, guys. I know they drastically increased the prize money for Classic Physique at the Arnold Classic in recognition of that, because you know what, the people have spoken, as we say. You can't argue with those kind of numbers.
No, people have spoken, and they it's becoming a more popular class. I hate to say that, but things are changing, man.
Yeah, I mean, the world changed. Nothing stays the same forever, guys. Things move, evolve. So I know you have to run soon, Kevin. So any closing thoughts, final impressions of the 2022 Olympia weekend?
Now, I just want to say it was good to see everybody. It's good to be there presenting the fifth place award to all the winners, all the guys are winners. I'm sure they worked hard, continue to work hard, guys. You know, the ones that didn't place where you wanted to place, you always have another opportunity to come back, you know, and the ones that won, congratulations. And the ones that didn't win, congratulations, because there's always a good lesson learned. You know, winning, number one, isn't always the best lesson learned. I've learned that sometimes when you don't win, number one, you still win in so many other ways, because it makes you even more of a warrior, and it makes you mentally strong, and you continue to fight forward and never quit and never give up, no matter how long it takes. So to all the guys, everyone who competed on stage, from all the women, female women, bikini, all the athletes, man, just keep your head up, keep driving forward, do it for you, do it for because you believe in yourself, and never let anybody tell you that you can't accomplish anything you want in life, because you certainly can. You know, this sport gives us great opportunity to, it's a sport known all around the world, you know, almost like music. I can walk into any gym in the world and they know us.
Yeah.
You know, so use it as a business. Don't get caught up in your placings and get angry over that. You know, take the opportunity for this organization, the IFBB, say it's a business for me. Use that corporation in the industry to get yourself out there, to create your brand, and to turn into a business individual. Because long after the sport, you're done competing, you still have the industry that's going to be there and hold you up like it's holding me up and my supplement company right now. You know, we're over in 90 countries around the world. And all this started from walking on that Mr. Olympia stage. So,
yeah, you know,
yeah.
I want to add, the last thing is that I'm glad you lost the 1992 Olympia, your rookie year, to Dorian Yates in, was it Finland that year?
Yeah.
Because as you said, that had you won, that would have been the end. We never would have seen you on stage again. We would have missed all those other contests, another 10 years of Kevin. And, you know, thank God you didn't win, because look at what you turned it all into. You won everything else. You traveled the world. You made millions of fans. You built a brand. You know, it's like you said, winning's not always the pinnacle. Sometimes taking second can be a win in many other ways too.
Yeah, and when you think your life is falling apart, just hold on. You know, God has a plan. It's falling into place.
Yeah, cool.
Yep.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Kevin. It was great seeing you, and great hearing your insights, your commentary. I'm going to go back and watch the replays of the 212 and hear what you're saying about the guys, because I'm curious. I like to hear the insiders, the guys who've been up there, give their critiques of the physiques. It's always a little different. So that's it, guys. Thanks for watching Lervrone Report, brought to you by Lervrone Supplements, and we'll see you right here next time. Thanks for watching. Hey, did you like that video? Smash that like button, subscribe to MD, and please comment down below. Thanks for watching.